Good afternoon. My name is Sifu Dave Charlesworth. I wanted to take a moment here and make a video here regarding the first of many in a video series to talk about the principles of fighting. I hope you'll enjoy this video and learn something from it. Hopefully it'll be of some benefit to you. And if it is, please like the video and subscribe so that you don't miss any of the further videos that are coming out. But this should be, like I said, this will be the first of a series of talking about the principles of fighting. If you didn't see my intro, Principles of Uncertainty, I'll try to leave a link in the description for this video that you can go back and see that as well. With that said, let's get going. We'll talk about the first of the many principles. The first principle is called setups. Okay. Basically, what you're doing here is you're just trying to set up yourself, and then you're trying to set up the individual you're fighting against. Essentially, the setup for yourself, you want to set yourself up mentally and physically and try to, one, raise your energy level. And you can do that in a variety of different ways. Everybody's a little bit different, so you probably need to figure out what you need to do to raise your energy level. But some things that may help are just a little bit of physical exercise. So, for example, skipping rope, running on the treadmill, listening to some upbeat music that you like, doing some positive imaging, some positive thinking, a little bit of meditation, so to speak, and then essentially learning how to psych yourself up and to learn your own triggers so that you can raise your energy level. Secondly, you can use a sparring partner to practice some timing and some distance. Do some warm-ups, practicing some timing drills. Maintain some critical distance lines. If you don't know what that is, it's essentially the safe zones where your partner or your opponent can't attack you. So if I'm outside of reach, then I'm outside of your critical distance line. And note those are different from punches and kicks, and they can also be breached rather rapidly. Third of all, on using a sparring partner, you can practice bridging the gap. Okay. And that's basically closing that distance between you and your opponent and closing his critical distance line so that you can attack him. Secondly, you want to practice focus. With that said, you want to stay in the moment. Okay, what do I mean by that? You want to think in the present. You want to push out all the other bad things that may be flowing through your mind, okay, and be in the fight. You want to be wary of negative thinking and mental drifting. And watch out for them self-defeating thoughts and emotions. You might be thinking about, I don't know if I can make it through the rest of this round. I'm getting kind of tired, or oh man, I didn't land that last punch. Stop yourself from doing that. Just move on. The show must go on. With that, you want to focus on patterns in your opponents and try to be aware of your opponent's movements and read his body language so that you can get an idea of what he's trying to do. So once again, for example, don't let the fight set the tone for the present. Okay, don't let a bad call from the judge keep you from concentrating on the task at hand. Okay, maybe this is a street fight, and not something in the ring, and your girlfriend or your boyfriend is watching, or maybe you're in a bunch of your friends, and you don't want to look like a fool. Worse yet, maybe this fight is because you're defending your girlfriend, and if you lose, you're worried about what's going to happen to her. It's a very real reality. If you're walking down the street, you're getting robbed or something like that, and you're defending everybody, and next thing you know, you lose, and what are they going to do? Try to keep those thoughts out of your mind. Try to think squarely about it, the attack, about what's going on in front of you. Okay, because if you don't maintain your focus, your inability to do so may result in your worst fears coming true. Focus on being calm. Put away all your fears, your emotions, your negative thinking, and execute the techniques that you've learned, practiced, and mastered in your studio, dojo, or kwoon. But that said, you want to work on setting up your opponent verbally. Okay, you want to try to confuse him. Okay, what might make confusing? Well, it may be scare him. Anger him. Try to get his mind to drift thinking about something else. If you get him upset, you can, make a comment, talk smack, say, hey, I saw your last fight. It was pathetic. Hey, I saw your girlfriend. She's looking at me. I hope she's impressed by what I'm doing to you. That kind of thing. Make him think. Okay, self-defeating and negative thoughts. Tell him. You're going to embarrass him in front of his friends, his girlfriend, his school, his instructor. What have you. Tell him you're going to hit him in the face and then do it. And tell him, hey, here it comes again, and fake him. When he goes to block, hit him where he opens up and hit him hard. You want to try and psych him out. Make that opponent believe that you're better than him, or her. Talk to him and continue to verbalize. Use your ki eyes, when you strike. Then let him know, hey, the freight train's coming in, and you're coming after him. You want to set him up using body language. Try to mislead him. Make him think that you're scared, to make him emboldened. Make him think you're tired, and then explode on him. Feign confusion and then execute a plan to draw him in. Then when he does come in, attack him. Use fakes. Okay, fake him out. Try and get him to react, and then attack him. Use angles of attack versus straight lines. Combine your verbal setups with your physical ones to add credibility, to your verbal, or vice versa. Add credibility to your physical fake. Okay. You want to try and frighten him. Okay, maintain forward pressure. Attack him violently and repeatedly without pause. Hit him hard, hit him fast. To provide an example, I guess I could tell you a short story. When I was a young man and I was a young sailor, I worked a part-time job in a bar as a bouncer. And I was returning after work to the ship. Because we slept on the ship back in those days, in the late 80s and early 90s. It was probably about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning. The ship was in a yard period, so we were, about a mile down the road or so from 32nd Street in San Diego. 32nd Street in itself was a pretty bad area back then, especially at night. But the area that the shipyards are in is even worse. So I was returning, and they didn't have any parking down there, so I had to park on the base, and then I had to ride the trolley from the base down to where the shipyard's at. So it's a real short trip. It's one stop. I get on the trolley, and I'm getting ready to get off the trolley at my stop. And as I walk out of the trolley, I see a guy. He kind of looks at me and makes eye contact with me, and I know essentially then that I've been marked. So I'm walking. I start walking a little brisker, kind of watching this guy. I look over my shoulder. He's following me. So I walk a little faster. He speeds up. So I'm like, okay, this guy wants to rob me. He knows that it's late. He knows that I'm a sailor probably by the haircut and everything, and he knows it was payday on Friday, and this is payday weekend. So he's probably thinking I'm a drunk sailor and I'm coming back from a night of drinking, and he was going to get an easy payday by knocking me over the head and taking my money. But essentially, being aware of my surroundings, I picked up on it and I saw him. So I kept watching him, kept following me, and I said, okay. So I just stopped and I turned around and said, what do you want? He kind of startled looking at me, and I'm like, yeah, what do you need? What do you want? And I raised my hands in a defensive position, and he kind of got startled and flustered, and he walked across the street, and he's standing there just kind of looking at me, and I said, okay. So I start walking, right? And I kept my eye on him, but he paralleled me down that street and was trying to decide, essentially, I think, whether or not he was going to make a move on me. So I kept my eyes out. I was looking around, making sure he didn't have any friends or anything, and just kept my eyes on him. Every couple steps, I'd take a look and make sure he was still where I thought he was. Unzipped my jacket a little, reached into my jacket, acted like I had a weapon, that kind of thing. Basically just did some of those principles that we were just talking about. Tried to psych him out. Use my verbal skills, use my body language. As I'm walking, I'm looking around. Are there any sticks or anything else that I can grab on the ground for a weapon? So we come up on a curve, and on that curve, he basically had no choice to either follow the curve, or come after me. Because at that curve with some railroad tracks, if I take a left down these railroad tracks about 150 yards, I get to the next street over where the gate is to the shipyard. So I take a left, and I take a couple steps, and look behind me. He stopped. He's looking at me. He's trying to figure out what he's going to do. Okay, I take a couple more steps, take a look. He's still there. Okay, so he decided not to follow me. And I think, essentially the point of the story is my self-awareness coupled with my verbal and nonverbal communications psyched him out, kept him from attacking me, trying to take my money. Of course, it was probably a plus that I wasn't drunk, and I was had my wits with me. So that's kind of another thing we get into too when we talk about these sort of things is the psychology of criminology. And when you talk about what criminals want to do, they don't want to fight for their money. They want an easy target. They want to knock you over the head, and knock you out, take your money. They don't want to fight you for it. So using some of these principles in real life, will come in handy, as well as when you're in the ring, trying to fight in the ring. So that pretty much covers it. If you got any questions or comments, or would like to add anything, please let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video and the content that we talked about so far, let me know. Give me a like on it. Let me know you liked it. And if you want to see the next video, hit subscribe. And I'll keep trying to make these videos and see if I can get this information out. I'm going to do it little bits at a time because I don't want to make them too long. Looks like I'm averaging probably about 10 to 12 minutes on each one of these videos. And hopefully we'll keep about the same. So, thank you for listening and have a good day. Mahalo.